All right, 11 o'clock my time Pacific. So we'll get started as people continue to join in. We had about 100 people register for this webinar. So hopefully we see some more people show up here in a little bit. But thank you to those who have joined us. This is our last update of the year, big update of the year. We may have a maintenance update come out, and if we find some issues, we'll put out a retake. But this is our last major update of the year. So thank you guys for being patient. I know a lot of you were excited about some of the things coming out. So I am excited to share it with you. As always, my administrators, once the update comes out, as far as ETA goes, I know a lot of you are always asking about when we're going to be pushing it out. We are going to have it in the hands of our beta testers tomorrow. Typically, we give them about a week to get through it and make sure we're not running into any issues. But once we make sure that everything's all clear, we'll push it out to the rest of you, shooting for the 4th. But we will be releasing it um, in uh in small groups, so just be patient as we get it out to you guys, but it is coming. As always, after the update comes out, if my administrators will please go in and download the default grid layouts from your help menu in eManage. That'll just ensure that you get all the latest if we have made any changes to any of the grid layouts. Awesome. Right. You guys feel free to chat in questions, comments, suggestions, as always, in the chat room. If you want to unmute, you can and speak up. I'll leave plenty of time at the end to ask questions if you do want to unmute and chat about it. This is for you guys. We want to make sure that you're fully prepared for what's coming out in the next update. So give us some feedback. Let us know what you guys are excited about. And if you have any questions about what is coming out, we do have Ravi and Marisa and probably the rest of my support staff in the chat room. So if you guys do have any questions, feel free to get in there. As always, these meetings are being recorded and we will post them to our YouTube channel shortly after this webinar. So if you have any people that were able to make it, or you got to go back and review what's coming out, you'll definitely be able to catch that on our YouTube channel. We also typically send out a follow-up email with the recording plugged into it so that you can share that very easily. All right, getting started here. There we go. All right, new features. Getting started with new features. This is an exciting one. Pretty big deal for my accounting folks in the room. If I do have any of you here, I'm sure that you're excited about this. We are coming out with invoice by line item. This means that you no longer have to go into order entry to do some manual movement of your line items. If you do have to split off individual line items, I already see a yay in the chat room. That's awesome. But yeah, we know how important this is to be able to make it very easy for you to split up those billings for whatever reason, big milestones of the project, partially been delivered and you want to invoice for what has been delivered. You'll be able to go in and simply click a checkbox that says invoice by line item. This is in the add customer invoice window. I don't want to go into too many details. This webinar is meant to just give you an update about what's coming out. Everything has already been documented. So if you go into the help guide, we've already got some articles out there on these new features and these enhancements. So if you need step-by-step instructions, go to the help guide. You can find that in the help menu within eManage. I'm probably going to lay a couple of those on you throughout this session to remind you how you have resources out there to help yourself. So definitely check those articles out. But yeah, you'll be able to just click on and off what you want to invoice. It will update the amounts and the general ledger accounts automatically based on your selection. And when you go to print the invoice, it will print with only those line items. So very, very exciting update as far as invoicing goes. Cool. Real quick, simple, easy. If you have any questions, feel free to chat those in. Additional new features, I'm really excited about this one. We are adding more scope builders throughout the system. In addition to some of those scope builders, we are updating those boxes where you put in text. We're updating those to be fully formatable, so you can go in and make things bold and underline and shout out to the world what you need to shout out with your text. So full HTML editing within those scope builders that we're updating. In the scope builders that are coming out in this next update are going to be in the option and phase description within your bill of materials, so your quote module. Make those fully formatable, and they will carry through to the actual report. So if any of these scope builders do affect reports when you go to print the actual document that it's connected to, that should also transfer through. Additionally, we've added a scope builder um, and HTML editing into the quote footer and the header and the alternative summary. So that's within your quote settings window, again, within the quote module. Also, in action items and general install instructions. The action items is huge to me. I'm going to talk a little bit more in depth about that one because I think this is a game changer for us. For my admins in the room, if there are things that you're putting inside of your prerequisites to tell them to note something, if you want to create a builder that basically acts as a text template. So if there are things that they're typing, such as, quote number, customer PO number, estimated install date, things that we're putting inside of the note field within our action item window, build out a builder to guide them of what they should be filling in. Yes, the prerequisites are there to, make them note the information, but going that extra mile to put it in the builder as well is huge. So text saves time, so we're increasing our efficiencies, but we're also making things really consistent across the board and holding everybody accountable and keeping our documents consistent. And then as far as like the quotes and whatnot, very, very polished output. So just more professional looking quotes and documents. So use those builders. On this quick screenshot, you can see that the builder icon is highlighted there in red and what the builder box looks like when you punch that out. So it's just like the rest of our builders. If you've done builders before, it's pretty straightforward. But again, all of this is documented in the help guide. So if you need a little assistance or you've never used builders before, definitely go search our help guide for scope builders. Really powerful part of the system, again, to keep things consistent and be more efficient. Anything that you're typing, over and over, repetitive typing, that's what those builders are for. Cool. Additional new features. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one because I know all of you in the room are not Hayworth dealers, but this should kind of highlight the power of web services if you are working with a manufacturer that has web services available that we have not put in the system yet. We want to hear about those and get connected with the right people on the manufacturer side of things to make things a little bit more streamlined and efficient. So a new web service that we've got coming out in this update is shipment notifications. So you'll be able to go into your web service, Hayworth Web Services window, and you'll see a new tab at the top that says View Shipments. You'll just click a button to download them, and you'll have a button to clear them and process them. But very detailed information. You'll see your ship dates, your carton counts, your weights, more information there. But hopefully to help you manage your shipments and prepare for receiving and just plan more efficiently. You'll see all the detailed line items when you expand out as well. So very, very cool additional web service that we've got coming out. If anybody has any specific questions about that, we might talk about this in our Hayworth dealer meeting as well. An additional feature that we've come out, just enhancing some user control. If you've got my update, you'll notice that we did kind of do a little blurb about some things that we're preparing for. We are working with a dealer right now to get them CMMC. I got that wrong, I apologize. But it's a certification to work with some of your government accounts. And security is just something that's on the top of our radar. And we're just building towards increasing the security throughout e-manage. So this is just the first part of that. But there's going to be more to come in order to get those dealers that certification that they need. State laws are changing and things like that. So we're just trying to keep up with the latest and make sure that you guys have what you need to get those certifications to continue working with those government accounts. But to talk specifically about what's coming out in this update, we are going to have a customizable password expiration. So for those users that have been with us for some time now, this was something that we've been talking about for a while, but you can go in and change your password every X amount of days. So there are some options that you can choose from. I think it's like 30, 60, 90, 365. So how often you want people to change their passwords to keep things nice and secure. So you'll see that in the user records when you open up a user record within the administrator application. I know that all of you are not admins on this, but this is important for you guys to be aware of if you're going to get forced logged out and things like that. A couple of additional items that I'm about to talk about, or you get a pop up to change your password. This is behind the scenes of it, and I think it's important for all of us to be on the same page. An additional security item that we're coming out with is the force change password. So you can just simply highlight a user and force them to change their password. This is great for new users when you set them up with just a very basic standard password. As soon as you set them up, you can click that force change password. And then when they log in, they'll be prompted to change their password. Or if, just extra security and you've got some question as to what's going on, you can click that button and just change that password. We're also doing some more general visibility enhancements. There have been some performance enhancements here in this grid as well, but you'll now see at a very quick glance who's logged in and who's logged out. So the little red circles are logged out people. The people who are logged in are green, pretty straightforward. So just a little bit more visibility as to who's logged in and who's logged out. Sorry, get that out of the way. And then we also have the last one on here is the just remote user control where you can force somebody to log out. So for those dealers who are still on-prem, if you need to free up a seat so somebody can sit in that seat there, you can force somebody to log out from the user management grid. There has been a name change there, but you can log in there and force somebody to log out. So some different things we're doing. I've got one more kind of user enhancement that we'll talk about in a little bit. Additional new feature, I am so excited about this one. We do have some automations that we're building in. This is just the start of it. We do have some really exciting, actually, sorry, I'm going to go back one step. As far as enhanced user control, I do want to kind of lay a little bit of a nugget that we are getting ready to do some MFA as well, so multi-factor authentication. So where you have to get a code to log in to e-manage. It's what all the tech companies are doing these days, just to enhance that security. It's not going to be out in this update, but there is going to be, and Ravi, please correct me if I'm wrong, but it is going to be out in like a security maintenance update before the end of the year, I believe. So we're pushing this one out, not letting that hold us up. There's been a couple of little hoops that we've had to jump through. And so we'll be getting that out after this update, but just want to let you guys know that that is coming, something to be very aware of. Automations, again, the start of something really exciting for us, just building more automations, making things a little bit more seamless, automate those workflows, keep things consistent, obviously save a lot of time and hopefully reduce some errors. But what this is, the start of it, when you go into the administrator application, you're going to see a new menu item on the left side called automations. And when you click on that, you're going to go through some configuration. And I guess at a very high level, just to, again, all of it's documented. So once the update comes out, go check out those help guide articles and get this set up. If you're an admin sitting in the room, this is behind the scenes, getting this set up. But again, I want everybody to be aware of how this works because it is really going to be powerful. And we're just going to continue to build on it. But in a nutshell, what this is you're going to be able to tell the system when you're sending out a quote, a customer quote, a vendor purchase order, or a customer invoice. Those are the three we're building first. You're going to be able to tell the system which contact type to default the email address to field. So when you go to email quote, you want it to be the primary contact that you have, or if you select a different type of contact type, that you want to tie it to, you can set that up. And additionally, you can also tie email templates to it so that when you go to hit that new email button, the to field is populated, the email template is populated. Might need to, double check, make a couple changes, but we're ready to hit that send button. So very exciting, time saving, reducing errors, keeping things consistent feature. You can also CC people and blind copy people. So if you want to add those salespeople to your project contacts and label them as internal, and you want to copy them or blind copy them, whoever's on that project, you can set those automations up. You even have the ability to set up if you want to use the user's default email signature rather than whatever email signature you tie to the actual template. Very cool stuff. Not a whole lot of chatter in the chat room, so I hope that this is all making complete sense and you guys are excited about it, but this one is, I feel like, huge for us. We're going to just continue to build on this. So if you got any ideas for automations, I've got some ideas for like automated reports and things like that that can send out automatically, but this is the start of that area. Definitely communicate with us. Let us know what you guys think. Another new feature. Oh, yay. I don't know who that is because it says unknown user, but I am so excited too. As far as the additional, I think this is the last new feature. This is the only one I haven't documented yet, so don't go looking for this just yet in the help guide, but it will be ready probably by the end of today. But this is really exciting again for my accounting folks. Journal costs, credit card charges that you enter in against opportunities, you'll be able to reconcile them and see, what has been tied to opportunities and how you can quickly move them over to actual orders. So a lot of times we're only entering those types of costs. I would say the majority of the time we're entering costs against orders, but every now and then we have opportunity costs. Wining and dining, the customer went out and swiped the credit card. You want to get those entered into your system. That way you can, reconcile them and keep them a part of the final job costing and see that final, the most accurate final profit reports that you can see. So very cool. Check out that help guide article when that is done. Oh goodness. Okay. Ask eManage. This one is huge for us. We are, I think, the first to come out with artificial intelligence, a first run at it inside of eManage. So new word for AI, right? We call action items AIs, but now we're going to have a little bit of other real AI in the system. So really excited about this. It is very much beta. We have been testing it internally, but it is very difficult for us to identify what types of questions you guys are wanting to ask the system. But it is real-time answers, and you can ask it anything about your database or it is connected to the help guide. So putting this tool at your fingertips so that we can get you guys using the help guide more and keep improving the help guide. We're getting a lot of feedback about the help guide and the help desk, and we're trying to make adjustments and improvements as those do come in. So keep those coming. It's been really, really good feedback. If you're not finding the results that you're looking for within this Ask eManage beta tool, you're going to be able to give it some feedback. So you'll be able to say, is this a good response? Is this a bad response? And if you do give it a bad response, it will prompt you to ask a little, or prompt you to give a little bit more feedback. So I'm all kinds of jumbled up. Speed, how was the speed? How was the actual feedback? So just follow those prompts and definitely provide the feedback so we can enhance it and make it a more useful tool for you guys. When you first open up eManage, Ask eManage is going to open up with it. But it'll kind of be hidden in your task tray. So where our live update lives, most of you know where that is, but next to your clock in the bottom right corner, your little task tray, your hidden task, Ask eManage will just live down there. So you can just right click and open it up and ask a question. Again, things like, how do I create an invoice? How do I apply a vendor deposit? Questions that you need to ask on how to do something within the program, but also, like I said, a database feedback as well. Can you tell me the salesperson on a project? So a couple of little examples. Again, it's beta. So if it's not giving you what you need, give us that feedback. We're going to tweak it and make it better. Eventually, we are going to connect it to the help desk, I believe. So if it's not giving you what you need, you can then immediately send a support ticket. Eventually, maybe even connect it to a chat. So yeah, lots of feedback coming in from you guys. Keep that coming. This is just going to help us help you. That's the whole goal. That was the last new feature, some additional enhancements that we're making. There's a cool new user activity dashboard again for my admins. So admins, when you get into the admin application, you'll be able to go in and see the activity new menu item on the left toolbar there. This is going to tell you what people are doing, how long they've been in there, what windows they're in. And at the top, you can change it to show, different date filters, and then a couple of different little visual metrics showing how active people are. So fun little dashboard enhancements there. Another enhancement we made to the punch list, continuing to get some good feedback on the punch list, keep that coming. One of the requests coming in recently from multiple different users was being able to go in and print a single punch list. This is helpful for when you have, manufacturers that you want to send over a punch list report, rather than sending them the entire punch list, that there's going to be several items on there that might not be relevant to the actual manufacturer. You'll be able to go into the punch list module within the project, highlight an individual punch list, and on the far bottom right corner, you're going to see print punch list report. So you'll be able to go in there and just print a single. Very cool stuff there. Last little tiny enhancements that I'm going to go through fairly quickly, and then I'll open up for any questions or comments. Some additional small enhancements, little things that people have been requesting that we feel like will benefit everybody. Order type has been added to the collections report. So just a new field in the collections report that you can add on there. We have added this is the screenshot, the first screenshot on the left. When you go to your admin application, you'll be able to see which subcontractor is actually tied to one of your partner licenses. If you are unfamiliar with the partner app, that's your subcontractor portal, essentially. If you want to check that out, this has been documented. Go look in the help guide and check out the partner app. Very, very cool stuff there, but just visibility wise, to be able to see that partner connected to that subcontractor connected to that partner license. There has been some grid performance enhancements in that user management grid on top of those different enhancements that we talked about previously. Couple of additional fields added. This is a second screenshot on the left here. Again, multiple people requesting certain things to be added in. We're going to add those. So your feedback is important. But yeah, your project manager and designer have been added to the project information report. So when you're inside of the project information module, and you go to hit print inside that project information module, or print reports, project information at the top, just a couple of additional fields added. So if you have a custom that you're using, an alternative report, you're going to need to either go modify your alternative, or work from the base report and make those additional modifications that you had made. If you need any help or assistance there, definitely put in a ticket, and we can get you what you need there. Small item employee type is now visible in the QuickBooks integration. When you go to push over timesheets, your employee type will show. And then added a project type, another new field to your actions to perform grid. So if that's helpful for managing your workload in the actions to perform grid, you'll now see the project type field. So again, if you have a layout that's already saved, you'll need to go in and modify your layouts to see that new field that you guys have been requesting to be added in. A few issues resolved, not a ton, but some that make a difference. Again, if I don't cover every single item here, check out those release notes. When the update comes out, you're gonna get a pop-up notification that tells you there's an update available to you. There's gonna be a link there that takes you to the full release note. So if there's anything that gets added somewhere between now and then, or something that I missed, definitely go check that out. There's even links in the release notes to the help guide articles to support these different changes that you need to be aware of. So go check that out. Definitely look at what's coming out. It's important that you understand, how powerful some of these things can be. I'll go through these fairly quickly, but issues resolved as far as quote related items go. The quick quote form, if you've been using quick quotes, that's for like walk-in transactions to quickly process an order. The quick quote feature is available, has been modified and updated. So check that out if you haven't already. But the project manager and designer wasn't required previously. If you did have that field populated in your database, those are required. And there was a small little blip there that was checking for errors. If there were any options or finishes unselected, it will warn you before you go to process the order now. So just like in our regular order entry module, we're just carrying that over to the quick quote module. As far as order related items go, creating purchase orders by category is now an available feature, so you can go check that out. Most of the time we're creating it by option phase, so that's something rare that people might need to check out. Documented in the help guide, so if you want to explore that more. Hayworth related items, you can now send service parts, so your service line items over to links. So I think that's common for direct bill orders. So if you do any direct bill quoting and you are needing Hayworth to pay you for labor, project management, design, things like that, those line items will actually transfer through to links now. Additionally, as far as direct bill orders go, there was a um, lost for words, but they were flip-flopped to your purchase order numbers and your vendor purchase order number and your customer PO number. When you select a direct bill, they are going to send over to Hayworth properly now. They were flipping into like the reference PO number and the customer PO number. They were backwards. So those will be sending over properly now, which should allow you to download your acknowledgements properly as well, if you weren't able to do that before. Operations related items, when you complete the installs, some of the things that are happening automatically from the mobile app, or if you're still manually completing installs in the desktop application, it was making the entire little bubble on the install item transparent. It's still going to be transparent, but the actual text will show now, so it won't be like completely hidden. And you'll be able to still visually see what's been completed and what's not been completed. Again, some of that automation that's coming from the mobile app. So if you're interested in checking that out, go check it out. As far as project related items go, there was a small issue with importing Cap Studio CIFs. So the different file types that you select when exporting out of 2020, the Cap Studio CIF has been resolved. So if you want to go back to Cap Studio CIFs, you can. Small item here that bugs me tremendously. So hopefully this helps you guys as well. I'm a big tabber on my keyboard to go through the fields and just use my keyboard to fill things out. In the project information window, you can tab through and it'll go get the order correctly, not go all over the place. So if you're a tabber, definitely check that out. And then a couple of different miscellaneous items. There was an issue with importing customers and contacts via Excel into the system. So if you have a Excel document of a bunch of leads or customers that you want to get imported into the system, you should be able to do that without issue now. There was a duplication of supervisors in the HR employee manager that's been resolved. There was a small user rights tying to certain things that we've resolved. So some of you were letting us know about some search results within the desktop application. If it was affecting the mobile app, that should also be resolved. And then for some of my Space Saver dealers, if you're on this call, you can now edit mail merge templates. So that's really exciting. I don't know very many other dealers that are using that, but if you do any mail merge templates, you can now edit those. Let's see what I got. So that is what I have. Checking out the chat room. Feel free to unmute and ask questions at this time. Otherwise, if that's all you need from this, I hope you guys are excited as we are about this update. not huge, but not tiny either. But definitely the security enhancements are a big deal for us. So we're excited about those. Some of those other small things that I think will make a difference. But this will be the last update of the year. We did get some feedback, and we are listening. Some feedback from you guys that putting out updates at the end of the year can sometimes interrupt that end of year chaos that we all experience. So this will be the last one. We're not going to interrupt your end of year any further. All right, I'll hang just a little bit longer to keep the chat room open. But otherwise, if you guys have any questions or feedback issues, please submit them to the support desk. If you haven't signed up for the service desk yet, go check that out. It's all documented in the help guide to be able to sign up for that and how to use it. But definitely submit your feedback there. And if there are any issues, as always, we will put out a retake to resolve them as quickly as possible. But be patient with us and we will get it all fixed up. But we are trying to go through as many testing scenarios as we can, but a lot of exceptions that take place in this industry, and we are human, so we do miss things. So, but you know that we resolve them as quickly as we can. So definitely get us that feedback. But yes, thank you guys for joining us. Really appreciate your time and for showing up and checking out what's coming up. We're excited to wrap this one up for the year, but some other little things that will be coming out by the end of the year. So be on the lookout for that. Otherwise, have a great rest of the week and we'll see you guys soon.